What up, Facebook? Sunday morning. I don't know what time it is. I'm thinking it's 9:45 Mountain Time. One clock says 8:45, one says 9:45. Who knows? Actually, someone knows what time it is. Anyways, what's up? So I'm going to share with you the exact formula of how I have quickly and easily been able to shed 30 pounds, nearly 30 pounds. I'm kind of bouncing between about 176 and about 178, 179 on the scale right now. And when I first started in November, I was 205, 206 pounds. And then January 18th, I was nearly 193 pounds. That's when I really started to quickly accelerate the path. And I had several things happen. Number one, previously, right after Thanksgiving when I got on the scale, I had made the conscious decision that, hey, listen, I am not gonna be that guy that is just average body. Like, I'm not gonna be that guy anymore. And so I got really clear on that decision and made it a must. And one of the things that you guys probably know, like, you become your reality from your thoughts, and your thoughts lead to your actions and develop habits, and your habits cause the results. The thoughts that I had were limiting thoughts that that took a lot of work, or it took too much time, or I didn't like to eat like that, or blah, 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 blah. I didn't want to work out. I hate, honestly, I still hate working out to a degree. But I didn't like working out. I didn't like going to the gym. I didn't like the pains I got in my body. I didn't even like being there. It wasn't fun at all, right? And so therefore, that was number one. I was putting that out there. But not only that, time works either as your friend or your greatest enemy. Okay, Napoleon Hill talks about that and outwitting the devil. So if I continue that path of not taking action, for example, if you're that person that knows you got some pounds you got to shave, and you know you got to get it done one day, right? The longer you take action on it, the actual harder it will become to do later, because you're building the habit and the neural pathways that are getting just insulated into your cerebellum that, hey, listen, this is how I am, man. And so I'm 32, and I honestly, I didn't have a terrible habit, but if I continued that with the idea of compound interest into my 40s and my 50s into my 60s, in that time frame was when it would have really came to bite me in the butt, right? And so you might be that person as well. So I got conscious, made that decision. However, I had to change some habits, right? So I started with what I knew. I knew I needed more vegetables. Like, it was a no-brainer. That's what I needed more of. So I started with about half a pound of spinach and water, but I also was mixing other things in, like cucumbers, carrots, ginger, mint, parsley, a lot of things, along with the chia seeds and the flax seeds, and not nearly the amount that I'm currently consuming with my current formula that I've learned from Thomas Tadlock. Okay, that was a great start. In fact, I think I had more energy with that formula than I did now, but I wasn't getting massive results. I was getting some results. It took me, I guess, I don't know, 2 months to go the first 15 pounds, and then about 6 weeks to go the next amount, give or take, right? Maybe a little bit longer. But along this last second half of my journey is I've been physically, like, increasing my strength as well, and that naturally has increased my health. Okay, so let me share with you guys what I'm doing now. Okay, this is a little part of, you guys have seen part of my journey. I like to document. You guys, if you've been following me for a while, you've probably seen my journey through real estate as well, and how that's come, because that started in 2011 with my first YouTube video. And I just did it to inspire others, right? I wanted to help you. If this is something you're dealing with, like, no one talks about the real challenges of real human beings, right? I mean, people mention it, but what are people taking action on, okay? So here's today's formula. These are flax seeds right here, and they're 1/2 a cup of flax seeds. And I don't know if you can see, but right here are some chia seeds. I use a 1/4 cup of chia seeds. This is spinach, and what I do with my spinach is I get the big old, what's up? Hey, hold on one sec, okay? Where's your show? Where's it? Okay. This part is spinach, and I get it frozen, like Power Greens. You can get at Costco, 1.5 pounds, or I get also the 2.5 pounds bags, because it's just straight spinach, and I like spinach more. So I freeze it. It's easier to store, but then I put it in here, and then I put frozen fruit on top. Like in here, I've got mangoes and pineapples and strawberries, and it's all frozen when I put it in, but I actually fill it up with hot water. I get some hot water and fill it up, and it melts it all, so it really compacts it. I guess, I don't know if melt, but you know what I'm saying. It shrinks it up, and this is what it looks like after. So this is 1.5 pounds of spinach right here, and this is probably in fruit, probably maybe 1/4 pound of fruit. So that's my exact formula, and I'm gonna go put some more water in here in a second, and then what I'll do is I'll blend it up, okay? And throughout the day, I'll add water to that mixture, and I just drink it. Okay, you gotta do it right there, right there. Here, do it right here. You can do it right there, it's okay. Little Lenny's been sick lately, and so we pretty much just let her throw up on the wood floor and clean it up. It's easier, because we don't even know what she's gonna do. What? Did I touch her hair? And she gets so mad when I touch her hair. Like this little hair comes up on top of her head and I go, she kind of gets mad. So that's my formula for the nutrition intake. For the action intake or output, I have 2.5 times the amount of energy, time, and effort I put into exercising. Yep, gotta exercise, guys. No more of this excuse I don't have the time. In fact, now I can't not go 5 days at least, or sometimes 6 days without exercising, because my body just wants it. My mind wants it now, because I'm saying, hey, I know that if I go take action in the gym, I'm going to have an extraordinary body. Like, that's what I want. Extraordinary performance out of myself when it comes to my things I'm excited about, my passions. That's my family, it's my business, that's my investing. And pretty much that's about it. Those are my interests, right? So if I can then and traveling, put my effort and energy into traveling, right? So that's what I can put more energy input towards. The healthier I am, the healthy, the better fit I am, right? Here's a couple things I've learned. Actually, let me get some comments here. You are such a man, Colton. Only dudes measure stuff in pounds. You know what, Bobby? The thing about measuring. It's not the only thing I measure, by the way. That's just an easy way that I can tell I'm progressing every day. But I'm down nearly 3 inches in my waist. Check that out, nearly 3 inches in my waist, and almost 3 inches in my midsection around my belly. So it's not the only thing that I've measured. In fact, I've already had to take in, I'm measuring how my clothes fit. I already have one of my suits at the tailor right now. It's just got finished. I go pick it up because I'm having to get them resuited. Hold on one sec. So I'm drinking some black coffee here. Probably not the most ideal thing to put in your body, but Thomas is okay with it. What he wants me to reduce, and this is a struggle for me, I'll be honest with you guys, he wants me to reduce the amount of animal products that I intake. Yes, in other words, he wants me to become more and more vegan, which virtually I'm saying more and more vegan. He's pretty much said to just be a vegan, right? So there's that mindset thing I'm battling with right now. But common sense corner for me is it makes perfect sense the more I learn about the effects of food to my body, my energy, my performance. What I've learned is this, is holy shit, I can't believe I had that much extra weight on me, like carrying around. I'd probably have more. And what was it? It was in the form of feces and it was the form of fat. Okay, it was a form of feces in the form of fat. More than likely, most people that are like continuing this path, saying they're getting in their later 30s or in their mid 40s, and they were like me, they were just not exercising very much or very little. They were like eating out of control, but they weren't eating in control, right? And so, but that little below average of not eating out of control, just eating mediocre, adds up to mediocrity over time, right? And if you're eating worse than that, and I've been there, I was eating worse than that. That kind of led me up to the 205, is eating worse and then mediocre and then worse, and then mediocre was kind of my battle. That then gave me worse and mediocre results with my body, and with time I could tell that, right? So cutting out things like bone broth, lamb chops. I know I love lamb chops. I don't eat lamb chops very often, so not like I'm gonna not ever eat them again. Like I'm going to eat a lamb chop again one day, I can promise you that, right? But not eating these meats regularly, not having bacon and eggs, or not even really having bacon and very few eggs. So that's what I've started to do. And then I drink a lot of this. eat a lot of salads. A lot of salads that I've been eating. Let's see. Am I using organic spinach? Yes, organic spinach. I don't think it's required though to be able to make it happen. Just common sense corner makes more sense for me. If I'm gonna be eating, I want to eat as clean as possible. I had another comment. Where'd it go? Yes, Janie, thanks. I do see it in my face. The other day I went to get my hair cut and I was staring at myself in the mirror. I'm like, who is that handsome fellow, right? I'd noticed, but I really stared. I'm like, oh, man, you can definitely notice it. Eric said, so are you doing straight spinach or kale and chard collards as well? Yeah, some days I just do straight spinach. Some days I do kale, chard, something like that. But it's got to be the rich greens, very rich greens, Eric. So great question. But I just like spinach, and I think spinach is, it's Popeye use spinach. Let's see what other comments we got. Rock on, I'm on the weight loss trip, down 18 pounds since January 28th. Awesome, man. Congratulations, Rob. Once your body gets used to less and less animal products, you'll feel better and better, lighter energy, etc. Yes. So the thing that I'm discovering with that is I've kind of lost making food fun, and so I've got to rediscover. It's my mission now to rediscover how to make fun food, like food just fun and enjoyable and healthy. So awesome. So what I've learned is, I was sharing this with you guys, because of the amount of weight that I've personally seen myself lose, I didn't think I had that much on me to lose, to be honest. Which then blows my mind to see some people out there, and I notice it, I'm very aware of it now every day if I go out and about, to see people's midsections, to see how their, how this section of their face is, and to see their arms and see their chest. And my guess is most people, and just talking to people that are smarter than me that have studied this and are more experts in this of health and fitness, probably a good 60 to 75, maybe even 85 or more pounds most people are carrying around. And we need to think about that. How many extra pounds are you carrying right now? Is it 30? I bet it's at least 30, 15 for sure, but probably 30, maybe even 50 or 75 pounds. And if you do that year after year based on compound interest, like, where are you going to be in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? What supplements, if any, do I take? There's one thing that I do add to my green drink, but it's not like, I don't think it's a bad thing. Thomas hasn't said really either way about it. It's like green powder, so it's got like kale, broccoli, spirulina, some of those items in it, but just more healthy greens. Nothing else. I don't drink protein drinks. I drink a lot of water, a gallon to a gallon and a quarter. Sometimes try to get a gallon and a half of water, and probably I could do more water. I really think that I should probably be doing 1.5 to 2 gallons of water. So no supplements. This is all just natural nutrition and some good old-fashioned exercise. So exercise, what do? I weight lift probably 4 times a week, and I do about 4 to 5, sometimes 6 different exercises in the weight lift, but I do one really important one set, I don't know what you call it, one specific exercise, and it's always like one of my majors, like let's see, like my squats, or like my press or my row, something like that, or deadlifts. I did deadlifts yesterday, something like that. That's a major core workout. I do that once every day, and I do what's called pyramids. So I do enough weight that allows me to get at least 20 different reps in, 20 to 30 reps in, and then I keep adding weight and doing as many reps as I can. So I go clear down to 3 and then back up to where I started when I add more weight on, right? So at the end of this, I'm doing, I don't know, 150, 200 reps. I haven't actually counted. It's probably, a lot of reps, and it just builds a lot of strength. And each set, yeah, you go till maximum capacity, till you can't go anymore. So you're just really burning, burning yourself out there with that lift, and it's really causing some strength growth in my muscles. So that's cool. The other thing I do is cardio. I do hit training cardio, which is like 30 seconds on, 1 second off, but at your high intensity the whole time. So I do it on the treadmill, I do it on elliptical, I do it on the row machine, but I've been swimming as well. I'll spend I'll swim sprints down for laps, rest, and then and sprint back, and I'll do that for 30 minutes. And then I've also done other fun things. Played basketball with the great Garrett the other day, one-on-one, which, believe it or not, that is a pretty dang good cardio workout. And by the way, I beat him 11-8, so that's cool. I can still win at basketball, even though I haven't touched one in like 12 years. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. My exercise. What I've learned is it's time. Now is the time. Like, every one of you that sees this video and hears me say this right now, if you're wondering when the time is to get started on your health, it's now. Like, there's no other investment, not one other investment more important than you dominating this part of your life. I promise you that, okay? Because it doesn't matter how old you are, if you can't move or you can't get around, or you're worse, you're dead, right? You could have a lot of money and be dead, and it wouldn't matter, right? So get your health, get it just get it into gear. I don't know what else to say about that. Mark, appreciate you being here. Oh, by the way, if you have questions about how to do it, reach out to me, man. I'll set you up into the Smoothie Shred group to where you can it's a free group, Facebook group, a lot of cool things going on there. Brooke, Thomas's wife, she is a medical doctor. She cured herself of lupus through nutrition. And she's really great at showing the science, right? So like, one of the things is showing the science is how the omega-6 processes into your body as a toxin, which toxins create free radicals, create cancer. They create cancer, right? 1 out of 3 people are getting cancer today. So a lot of it has to do with our nutrition. Not just that. There's other factors, but that's part of it, right? So if you can improve that, right? So she explains that well, and she's gone through a major transformation herself with the cure of lupus. And so what she does is help people cure themselves of whatever's bothering them physically through nutrition. So it's one of the ways to help that. Also, the other thing that I would say right now, if you're not doing it, like, you're crazy if you're not doing it, is you're not investing for investing your freedom, for your freedom, basically, right? You're more than likely, you're not going to die anytime soon. You're probably going to live until at least your 60s or 70s, and actually even 80s or 90s. In fact, we're seeing people live longer now today, just with more disease, right? So you probably live longer. The fear that is coming upon people is, I know it's the fear. My dad's coming up on retirement this summer, right? The fear of, will I outlive my money? Like, will my money be able to be there and support them to the end? And then if so, like, I can already hear it with talking with my dad, is, okay, I've got to have a budget. Like, and yes, you should have a budget anyways, but it's the energy in which it's, man, this is going to be different. This is going to be, can I make it work, right? I know that's on everyone's mind. By the way, on the word budget, you could use another word to use, or a way to phrase that would be a spending plan, right? So I have a spending plan, and it based upon, actually more than that, it's a receiving plan. Every time I receive money, I plan out how it goes, right? I plan out where that money's going, and then it kind of flows through my filters, because I'm going to spend money, and then it flows through my filters, and then it automatically spends in different sections. And through time, that habit then creates compound interest and will grow. So just like in your health, like I was saying, it's the same in finances. It's the same in your marriage. It's the same in every aspect. Time is either your friend or your worst enemy. I want you to remember that. I've said that twice now in this video. The longer you go, it either becomes your friend because it becomes an awesome habit that causes awesome results, or becomes a bad habit that causes bad results. Okay? With that being said, if the government increased taxes by 20%, so meaning what you're currently paying, you'd pay 20% more, and based it on, let's say it's based on your income, right? You're going to pay 20% more in tax. If that were the case for you, and you had to pay 20% more tax, would you be excited? No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't be. Would you do it? Yeah, you'd do it. You'd be forced into it pretty much to do that, right? So what I recommend is you become your own government. Force your ass into putting 10%, 20%, 5%. What can you start with right now? The important thing is start the action, and then look at it weekly, and I would look at it daily for the first 90 to 180 days. Look at it daily and make sure that you're taking action on that. And then that compound interest works in 2 ways, by the way, guys. It's setting it aside right? Just forcing it. Even if you didn't get paid interest, you're having a savings of that, right? It would be silly just to leave it there, right? It makes more sense to spend it on something that's going to give you more interest paying on that, and that interest pays back and then gets you more interest and more interest. And so it grows like a snowball with time. And this is really, really important if you want to be able to crush the fear of outliving your money, right? If that's gonna happen or not. And the best way to do that is through passive and residual income. So what is a passive or residual income growth, right? It's not going to pay you necessarily into your bank account, but it's going to compound interest grow, is owning stocks. And I recommend that everyone starts buying into the stock market. The stock market is, people are afraid that, hey, it's going to crash. Yeah, it's going to crash. Historically speaking, the stock market crashes every 5 to 8 years, right? We're on year 8 since the last stock market crash. So it's probably going to crash soon, which, cool, man. I'm continuing to buy stocks that I use and believe in. Apple, if you have an iPhone, listen, dude, if you have an iPhone and you don't own Apple stock, you're crazy, man, right? You're literally, you could be paying yourself back just by owning some stock in that, right? I bet my phones more than pay for themselves just because I own in Apple, right? Apple pretty much gives me my products for free because I own Apple stocks. I make that return. Does that make sense? So how can you start to eliminate expenses and increase revenue? Stocks is one. Facebook, guys, I believe is one of the most underpriced stocks in the entire stock market. Right? The amount of eyeballs they have to it, the capabilities they have, the ownership of other companies that they have is redonkulous, right? We're talking #1 level company on the planet that is undervalued. So imagine when it becomes valued and increases to where what its real production is. At the very least, it's going to be continually setting new standards for everyone for the at least foreseeable future until some new thing pops up and takes kind of its place. But I don't see that anytime soon. Will it happen? More than likely. Will it happen anytime soon? I don't know, man. Facebook is just crushing it. So own stock in Facebook. I can promise you that. It is one of the most undervalued stocks, okay? So how this works, guys, is the crash happens. It's going to happen, right? Wouldn't it be nice if you had some cash that when Facebook, if you knew Facebook stock was undervalued, knew Apple stock was valued awesome and you're making money off of it. Now imagine all of a sudden Apple stock costs $50 instead of 110 or 20 or 40 or whatever it's at right now. I'm not even sure. It's like 125 or 130, something like that. How would you feel if you could buy Facebook stock at when it original IPO'd, right? I think 27 bucks, went up to 40 or something like that. How would you like to buy Facebook stock at 50 bucks a share, right? Because it's currently at, I don't know, 140 bucks a share or something like that. It's in the early 100s. I don't pay that close attention, but I know the direction it's going, right? You would be all over that. Well, my guess is there's going to be some similar opportunities like that going forward with some major companies once we see this crash happen, because it's going to happen. We had the crash in 2001 from 9/11, 2008 from the mortgage crisis. We had, I haven't read the book Unshakable, Jason. I have heard it is awesome, by the way. I want to read that book because I've heard a lot of people talking about it. So let me know if you've read it. So there's the .com crashes, and you even look, one of the things that I observe is movies, older movies. If you watch older business movies, or movies about business that were in that time frame. One of them, you know, it's kind of a funny movie, is The Wolf of Wall Street. But if you think about how Jordan Belfort started off in the 80s, he actually, his first day inside of as a stockbroker, the market crashed and he lost his job the first day, right? A bank that had been around. And I don't know if that's truth or just part of the movie, but my point is this happens over time. I mean, you look at what happened to Kodak, a 125-year company. Where's Kodak, man? You look at Blockbuster, you look at Lehman Brothers, you look at Bear Stearns, you look at even banks in your local community that have been around. I mean, I had two, Barnes Bank and Centennial, I think it was Centennial Bank, Anyways, 2 of them were there for over 115 years, local banks, gonzo during this time frame. That happened all across the country, okay? So that happens. And guess what happens is the market came back bigger, better, badder, stronger. It's always done that. I remember I used to freak out a little bit that we were the highest the stock market's ever been, but I realized after 32 years I've been observing stock market since probably the first or second grade, not like seriously, but I was aware of it and I looked at it and I checked things out. And if you even look historically, the stock market is higher than it's ever been, but it's always higher than it's ever been. And there's been these drops, crashes, that then they come back and they come back stronger. So the idea is not to try and time this market. The idea is buy. When the market drops, buy, and guess what? When that market drops, you're really going to have an explosion in growth if you keep buying versus what emotionally people are doing is selling, right? So how can you get yourself such that you don't have to sell during the down market? It starts back with how you manage your money. It starts back with how you receive your money. And so create that pattern now. Boom, when the market drops, you're going to not only have an explosion return on what you already had there, it's going to be safe, but you're also going to have an explosion growth on the new stuff that you're buying because it grows so quickly during that time frame. And then it'll take you to the next leap, the next bound. And then also, you're going to see pretty regularly small drops or slowdowns, right? We see it in the real estate world, whether it's seasonality or weather related, because I know some weeks we would have terrible slow weeks here with snow, and then other weeks we'd have fantastic weeks. So you'll see that as well. The question is, are you buying and owning part of this digital world, right? Or are you not buying and owning part of this digital world? And if you are owning part of it, what part are you earning? Own the winners, man. Invest in the winners, the ones that you use every single day. Why not be a part of it? Why not be a part of that growth and that opportunity that create that financial freedom and that stability, right? So I think you can definitely develop massive growth, that sector, along with the business sector, along with the real estate sector, like diversify in these sectors. How I look at it, diversification really is power in that sense, right? It creates a stable foundation. I think most wealthy people, from what I have observed, that's where the majority of their wealth is in business, in stocks, and also in real estate. What else am I excited about besides the stock market? I love silver, man. I am a fan of silver, not the electronic trading funds, but physical silver. Have a safe place to store it. Be very prepared with that. I mean, you have to invest more than just the silver, but the protection of it. So I love silver, man. It's a cool thing to spend money on because it kills my urge to spend, but it also really leverages and hedges money, because silver is tangible. It's always going to be tangible. It's always going to exist, and it's always going to be a need, more and more need with the continuation of the information age, because components inside of cell phones and computers and everything are required to use that, and it's not like you can go print more silver off. You got to go dig more silver up, right? So resources are required to go get it, not to mention relying on the resource of all source energy, which is God, right? The universe, the earth, whatever, Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it. Humans can't create silver at this point, right? Maybe one day they'll be able to. At this point, they can't create it. They can only pull it out. So I think that I don't like the idea of the Bitcoin, to be honest with you. I think the Bitcoin sounds like a cool thing, but I have absolutely no guarantee at all in the Bitcoin. Absolutely zero. I mean, Delta, largest airline in the company, back in August, their entire computer system shut down. Entire computer system shut down for one of the world's largest airlines. And for days it was havoc, right? I want you to imagine something happens like that with the Bitcoin. If you do invest in the Bitcoin, just be prepared that you may never get your money back. You can't promise that, right? And so that's why I'm not a huge fan of it. I like to invest in things that I use regularly. I don't use Bitcoin. I like to invest in things that I know well. I don't know Bitcoin well. I like to know the things that I invest in. I have a certainty that it's going to perform. Like, I have a certainty Facebook's going forward. Just look at the market research. Maybe I could look close to the Bitcoin research and see that if I started using it, but doesn't make sense to me personally. Real estate, I'm always excited about real estate. Looking at some commercial real estate right now as well. Ronnie, what up? I love that you call me Uncle C. Cool, guys. So that's some answers about my weight loss, my journey there, what I've been learning, and I hope that you guys remember kind of my mission is to create massive value for you guys. Really create massive value for everyone. That's my goal and my mission in life. Number 2 is empower you to take action. Where do you must take action right now? Where must you go take some massive action in your life? I bet a lot of it, you guys would really benefit from massive action in your health and fitness. That's why I'm sharing my journey. I knew it would for me. Financially, I know for a fact for all of us, I mean, even myself still must take massive action in my financial world. I want to really encourage not only to do it, but that you can do it. That is possible. If I'm able to do it, you are able to do it. Okay, and I'll be sharing some other experiences with you going forward. I'm really working on some cool inner game stuff that's like dark shadows being relieved from my soul, you know, feelings buried alive. And I'm excited because to this point in my life, I would say kind of like fading in and out over the last year. My friend Ivan Sorensen describes it like, you guys remember the movie Back to the Future, where Marty goes and he's playing on the stage at the end, and as he realized he's changed some things from his past, it's changing his future, and so he's starting to dissolve, right? Like there's this fuzzy shift that's been going on in my life over the last year of leaving the space of forcing and willing my life into existence. Like for certain reasons that I perceived when I was a child, action mode, not in necessarily massive action where I work all the time, but hustle until my lips turn blue, versus just being a little tranquil, a little relaxed, and enjoying the journey a little bit, not just the destination. I've always been about the destination. So as I've made this shift, I tend to have to force less and allow more, just things perfectly come together. And in fact, if I look at my success, most of it didn't even come from the sheer force and the sheer will. It came from when I freaking was forcing it so hard that I finally burnt myself out and just chilled out a second. And then it just happened, right? Then it happened, okay? But what forcing and willing did for me, it allowed me to keep moving forward, keep that forward momentum. And just also reminds myself to not be a little bitch, right? Stop being a little bitch and just do it. Just do it now. Austin, I do share my listing presentation to my mastermind partners and to the Fearless Agent students. So yes, there is a way you can get up inside of that. The Fearless Agent one was based on a CD that is distributed, or some audio that's distributed to the to you as a member, student member, and then the other is we just talk about that stuff in our personal mastermind, Austin. So if you want to apply, let me know. Enlightenment, yes, Lisa, people call that enlightenment. So, and hey, I've gone through some things that have caused enlightenment, such as Enlightened Warrior Camp. That was pretty awesome when I was in the Mojave Desert. I think you have to do things like that to cause you to have a different perspective. Like traveling for me does that, right? I can see the propaganda going on, but in a different language, and so I'm not used to the pattern. I'm like, holy cow, it's pattern. So that's the other thing with weight loss, with health, with nutrition, with relationships, with money. Everything is about identifying patterns. See, that's what you got to get great at. You got to get great at investing in yourself to identify patterns, language patterns, speaking patterns, communication patterns, money flow patterns, money management patterns, money investing patterns, business patterns, business action patterns, exercise patterns, nutrition, food patterns, right? Everything's about patterns. Digital patterns. If like one of the major reasons that I share so much on here, besides wanting to help you guys, is I understand the power of social media. And am I the best? No. Am I getting better? Heck yeah. And I'm going to be consistent at sharing content. And I used to think that I had to share some special thing with you guys, but no. I was thinking, why not? Tony Robbins says it best: give the gifts you've been given. Gary Vaynerchuk, same thing. I watched one of their podcasts recently, and Tony Robbins talked a lot about this stuff as well inside of his podcast, right? But the Gary Vaynerchuk says, hey, document your journey, right? And does a couple things. One is it forces me to level up, because if I make a commitment to someone, or if I'm documenting that, I want to look back and see the transformation, right? I'm more committed to it. Number two is it can share with other people that allow them to have massive growth in their life. And that's really what I think boils down to the most amount of success is in your health and your nutrition and your finances and your relationships and in your life all the way around is how much are you doing it to serve others, to serve life, to serve at the fullest level. And my I used to say the tattoo I would get if I ever got one. I probably wouldn't because I don't like the idea of ink in my arm, but I used to say you become what you think about most of the time. Like I become what I think about most of the time, so I'd always see it and remind myself. But even more so, I probably would put on there now, do it now. Do it now. Stop thinking about it so much and do it. Take some action on it. The moment you think about it, you give your chance for doubt to win the conversation or even argue the conversation, right? So it's not about arguing the conversation with positive thought or negative thought. It's about get out of that thought and do it now. Take action now. And the more action that you take, boom, the more results you have, the better life that you have, the better experience you have. You're going to go through life. You're going to live and die one day. And by the end of this, the patterns that you have will determine two things, your destination and your journey. How enjoyable was it to get to the destination, and how shitty or great is the destination when you get there, right? If you have bad habits, you're gonna get to a shitty end and you're gonna die you're gonna die broke with cancer, and probably smoking a cigarette or drinking yourself to sleep, or eating or drinking yourself to sleep, drinking yourself to death, or eating yourself to death, or drugging yourself to death, right? Or you're gonna end up broke with no money. You're gonna not outlive your savings. You're gonna rely on others to take care of you, or the other, and you're gonna be miserable every step of the way doing that. You're gonna be complaining about the government. You're gonna be complaining about wealthy people. You're gonna be complaining about healthy people. You're gonna be complaining about everyone that has everything that you don't have. You're gonna be watching CNN or Fox News or Reddit all the time, or something that is actually taking away from your energy in a positive form and feeding it negative, right? And that's gonna create that bad journey and that bad destination. Whereas on the other side, if you excel in those habits with time, you get to the end of your life thankful to have experienced the journey, thankful to have shared it with certain people, and not outlived your money. In fact, you're going to be able to leave an awesome fortune to your children and grandchildren so that they benefit and grow from it. You're going to inspire and have left a message with power to others that there is a possibility to have amazing life, right? So you get to choose that experience, and when you do it now, that's the most important time, because the quicker you can start, the quicker we can start in that direction, the quicker then compound interest takes effect, right? So for the first 5 years, might not notice a ton of change. First 10 years, you start to slightly notice it. 15, 20, 30, 50 years, you're like, oh my gosh, is that really the awesome life that I've lived? I'm starting to experience it at 32, looking back at 3 decades and say, holy shit, you have gone on a roller coaster of awesomeness, man. And each one of us are going on this roller coaster of awesomeness. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Oh, a reminder as well, if you're a real estate agent, I'll ask a favor from you. So we work in Utah. Please send us your referrals, buyers and sellers. We want to help as many people as possible. Or if you are in the local area, listen to this too. We appreciate doing business with people here locally. If you're a realtor and you want to get better at your presentation, your prospecting, and all your real estate skills and growing that business, check out fearlessagent.com or apply for my personal mastermind, Real Estate Hustlers Mastermind. You can ask me how. If you have any other questions, I'd love to help out best way I can. Check out my personal website, just see a little bit more about me, coltonlindsay.com. Adios. Oh, woo. Lisa said, I've never watched a Facebook Live for this long. Thanks for sharing and keep it real and interesting. Thanks for following. Do me a favor and share it. Share it now. Do it now. Share it. Share it. Getting that appointment and be able to write it on the board and be able to hit the gong and be able to celebrate it, it lifts my spirit, right? Because what happens is we have emotions going on in our life. We've got anywhere from love, joy, abundance, excitement, enthusiasm, passion,